Yes, my dear friend, welcome back to the channel. This is Salon's Blog. Once again, a very great Wednesday morning to you wherever you are on the globe, especially on the continent of Africa, in Europe, in America, in Canada, Australia, or right here in Southeast Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It is Salon's Blog indeed, and I'm excited to be back this very hour. Yes, I am excited to be here with you, right here with you. Ladies and gentlemen, you see, it's worthy to note that Chelsea ownership, as we speak, they have their own misunderstandings. They have issues that they are working on. There are things that are troubling them. They, as the owners, yes, they are struggling with a lot of things to understand each other. Right now, Chelsea, as we speak, let me just put it this way, are the verge of splitting. But one news that came up last night, ladies and gentlemen, which I want to point out to you right now, is that Chelsea are prepared to move away from Stamford Bridge to a new location. Oh yes, to a new location. And I'm surprised. Why? Because we are not a club without a history. Chelsea have held talks over leaving Stamford Bridge and moving to Earls Court as they seek a resolution to the plans for a bigger stadium. I mean, moving away from Stamford Bridge, with all the history behind Stamford Bridge. Dear friends, you see, this morning, I am actually here because I really want to point out to you few things that you and I, we really need to know or agreed upon. Chelsea and Stamford Bridge, there is a history behind it. And the history behind is said that we cannot afford to let go of the history. We can't. History must be preserved. But you see, I really came this morning well prepared. Why? There are a few things I'd like to point out to you. Number one, Chelsea can never move away from Stamford Bridge. Why? We are lucky to have the Chelsea pitch owners to safeguard the club. Oh yes. We are lucky to have the Chelsea pitch owners, which the last time I encouraged you to try and buy shares with just £100. You could be a Chelsea pitch owner. Stamford Bridge pitch, I explained it to you several times. The pitch belongs to separate entity. Now, money isn't everything in football. It's one of the reasons. Money is not everything in football. And you can't buy heritage. You can never buy heritage. You see, nicer surroundings in newer stadiums are not why you go to football. Nicer surroundings and newer stadium are not the reasons why you go to football. And let me remind you, Arsenal, Spurs, they have won very little since moving to bigger stadiums. Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur, they've won very little since they moved to bigger stadium. You see, Newcastle have had a huge stadium years and won nothing. Newcastle have gotten a big stadium over the years for a very long period now without winning a single trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, as it is right now, I will still encourage you, be part of those who sustain or maintain Chelsea history by purchasing a share in Chelsea Pitch. Be one of the Chelsea Pitch owners, CPO. Be one of them. We are very lucky that our club has a history and we have the Stamford Bridge. Worst case scenario, break the Stamford Bridge down and rebuild it. Worst case scenario, break it down. We might not have 90-seater capacity. Yes. The last time from the architect's design, it was around 65,000. Very good. From 42,000 to 65,000 or 60,000. An upgrade of about 20,000 extra. Oh yes, that is enough. You see, as we speak, this new ownership, they are doing everything possible within their means to change the history of this football club. They are doing everything possible to make sure, if they have their way, even to change the name Chelsea. Well, let me announce to them that it will be very difficult, in fact, almost impossible, almost impossible to do so, unless they want to start a new football club from scratch. Then they can start from the 3rd division. But when it comes to Chelsea, with the history we have, it's almost impossible. Now, Todd Boehly, as we speak, we understand he is in favor of maintaining the history of the club by way of the purchases he made in the first season. Yet, mistakes were made in that first season. Mistakes were made, but corrections were made also. Mistakes were made in the first season, yet corrections were made also in the first season. As it stands right now, because of the few mistakes that were made by Todd Boehly in the first season, they tried to put him out, which is refusing. Boehly is refusing to take no for an answer in this battle, to let go of his shares. Todd Boehly is refusing to take no for an answer in the battle for Chelsea. Clearly Capital, Clearly Group, they really want to get his shares away from him, and he's saying no to it. Now, Boehly is going to make an offer to the Clearly Capital Group, which he believes is going to be too good for them to turn it down. Oh yes, he is prepared. Some of us as fans, we are fully behind him, because the way he is thinking the club should be run is not the way Egbale and his group want the club to be run. You can't win anything with kids. You cannot continue to buy 18 years. Even players like Trevor Chalobah, we understand. Boehly was against the sale of Trevor Chalobah. He believed that Tosin Adebayo is not an upgrade on Trevor Chalobah, a player that helped Chelsea later part of last season. We had a run of unbeaten games in later part of last season. Todd Boehly also believed that it was wrong for Chelsea to sack Pochettino. He wanted Pochettino to continue. And not just that. In my next episode, I'll let you understand something. But Todd Boehly was against the sacking of Pochettino. Likewise, the sale of the how do you call it? Cobham, academy players, Conor Gallagher. Todd Boehly was not in favor of those things, and these are some of the reasons why Egbale and co want to put him out, because he seems not to be in the same page with them. You see, the differences are as of last evening. The differences as of last evening, as been reported by Sky Sports, are now irreconcilable. The differences between Todd Boehly and the Clearly Capital, headed by Egbale, as at last night, seems to be irreconcilable. Irreconcilable means that it's gotten to a stage where they can no longer amend or mend their differences. Each party is willing to boot out the other. And that is why Todd Boehly has already spoken with his partners, and they are ready to make an audacious offer to the Clearly Group. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to let you, this morning, it is all about Chelsea, the ownership and the heritage of the club. How the ownership of Chelsea Football Club is split. That is what you can see on your screen. How the ownership of this football club is split is what you can see on your screen. Percentage-wise, Clearly Capital, Todd Boehly, Mark Walter, Hans-Dirk Wyss, that is a percentage of each ownership. That is a percentage of each ownership. Ladies and gentlemen, as it is there right now, Clearly Capital is a consortium made up of various individuals, but being headed by Egbale. They own 61.6% of Chelsea right now. Handberg Wiggs is on the side of Todd Bowley. He owns 12.8%. Mark Walter owns 12.8%. Todd Bowley owns 12.8%. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a percentage on your screen right now there. And due to this, the Clearly Capital Group, they believe having the majority share, they have the right to do whatever they want to do. Now, once again, I am taking you back to the stadium saga. As you can see on your screen, Chelsea having talks over leaving Stamford Bridge and moving to Earls Court as they seek a resolution to the plans for a bigger stadium. That is the Stamford Bridge picture right there on your screen. And the so-called where we want to move to, Earls Court. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what you can see right there. Moving there simply means we are taking over the property. It is ours. And we are to build a bigger and larger stadium all from the scratch over there. Are you ready? How prepared are you as a Chelsea fan? New stadium, or you prefer Stamford Bridge to be maintained or rebuilt? We could move to somewhere temporal and give space for maybe 2 years. Tottenham, they did the same. They were in Wembley. They moved to Wembley for 2 years, 3 years, and they rebuilt their stadium. We can equally move to Wembley, Central London, get there, play our games there for the next 2 seasons, 3 seasons, rebuild Stamford Bridge. Ladies and gentlemen, you see, right there on your screen, for me, my personal opinion is that the heritage, the history, everything about Chelsea is right there. It's right here. It's not as if the space around the stadium, around Stamford Bridge, is not too big, it's too small. No. There are still spaces where if there's any improvement, upgrading, it can be done. But we cannot get a capacity that, 90 million, 80 million. No. According to the architects, it's around 62 to 65 million, 62 to 65,000. We cannot get in 80, 90,000 capacity at Stamford Bridge. But the owners, it is all about being greedy. The bigger the size of the stadium, the more money you make. That is it. They are thinking about the money. As we speak, it is all about the money, not about preserving what they've inherited. And it is up to we, the Chelsea fans, to put our feet on the ground and get things done the way it's expected. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, it is our heritage. And as a member of the CPO, like many others, I won't be voting in favor of a move to Earls Court right now. Oh yes, let me remind you, as a member, there are some rights that you have. Oh yes, as a member of Chelsea pitch owners, you have the right to vote in certain decisions, not all decisions, online. You don't necessarily have to travel to the UK. And like I told you before, when you want to travel to Stamford Bridge to watch a game, you go to your embassy, it's easier as a Chelsea pitch owner. It's just a secret I'm giving you. Don't let anybody hear it. Don't let anybody hear it. So like I said, like many others, I won't be voting in favor of a move to Earls Court right now. The ownership have failed in so many ways. Chelsea owners, they failed us in so many ways, dear friend. And are currently grappling with each other. They are currently fighting with each other, grappling with each other. Why on earth would the CPO vote in favor of a move with these circles right now? No. No, it doesn't make sense. We can't give all of our rights to these owners right now. it is our duty. Fans, supporters of the club, especially those of you that are pitch owners, CPOs, rise up and speak. This has to end somewhere. Todd Bowley, he has an image of the club. The first season, all of a sudden, clearly Capitals, they begin to feel that he's beginning to have too much power. The minority, shareholder is beginning to have too much power. They came in, they booted out, cleared the system. Listen, I'll end where I'm going to be continuing the next video. It is believed with some of the senior squad members in Chelsea, some of the senior players that were at Chelsea, it is believed within the club setup at Cobham that Pochettino could have succeeded in this new season if he had stayed. The system that he started building up, the style of play, and the way things were beginning to pick up from last season Christmas, with the runs that were made when the players were beginning to recover from injury, it is believed that Poch would have succeeded this current season. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give some shout out and I'll let you go. I'll be back in the next hours for more exclusives. Oh yes. Big shout out to you guys, Frederick Amabe, my good friend out there. He says Jackson is not good enough. In the time of Mikel, Jackson can't be on the bench. You two, you know. Yes, my dear friend. Well, during Mikel's time, Jackson still have a place on the bench. During Mikel's time was when a player like Salah was bought. He was young then. It was during Mikel's time that this Belgian player, Belgian striker, what's his name? We had a lot of them. They might not be in the first 11, but we had them. So go back and check the history. You can say it might not be in the first 11. I understand because Drogba was there. When Drogba was there, Anelka never had a chance. He was on the bench. When Drogba was there, many strikers that came to Chelsea, they struggled. Shevchenko and co, because Drogba was there. Right? Great. So to that extent, he will be on the bench, but he will surely make the Chelsea squad. He would have surely been in the Chelsea squad on the bench. Well, this one says, stop the shout out. I have told you before. I should stop giving the shout out to people. Hey, my good friends out there. Nothing you do that you guys will be satisfied. Coming from Ayoro Kelvin. Ayoro Kelvin. Well, I've taken your note of your comment, but where we have reached right now, men and women on this platform that will give you the shout out, they are our energy, they are our strength. So it's not a time for me to let them down. Anyway, big shout out to you yourself, Ayoro Kelvin, wherever you are. This one says, from Nigeria, keep going. Thank you so much. What's the name? Izu Onyenwe. Izu, wherever you are, big shout out to you. Have a great Wednesday morning. This one says, Mr. Selam, I keep buying expensive data just to watch you. I think one of these days, you must be giving your fans some money. This our Ghana team, don't worry, all will be well. I hope this Chelsea ownership issue gets solved, as Anthony Taylor will be taking our game on Saturday night. David from Ghana. David, I should start buying you guys a top up, right? How do you call it? Data. Is I should start giving people money. All right. Keep supporting us. A time will come when we'll be surprising you guys. Don't worry. We are still growing. Yes, share the video, like the video, tell your friends to subscribe. Let's have much more, fans and supporters. A time will come where we will actually be giving out, surprises to people like you. Big shout out to you, David in Ghana. Big shout out to you. This one says they should allow the fans to. They should allow the fans to do what? Please come again. Tayo from Nigeria, I believe. Tayo from Nigeria. Big shout out to you, Tayo from Nigeria. All right. The next one says, so ownership mess makes your pet boy Jackson not to score goals, Abi. I'm following you, hearing you, and watching. how you are backing him up. Anefiok Moses from Delta State, Nigeria. Anefiok Moses from Delta State, Nigeria. I don't think the ownership method is giving the, how do you call it, Nicola Jackson, or the reason why he's not scoring the goals as you expected. But like I told you yesterday, Chelsea is a club that, you know, right now as we speak, the responsibility is not only on Jackson to score goal, even though he's the main man, right? He is the main man. You gave him 5 opportunities and he scored 2. What about that? Big shout out to you out there, Anefiok Moses. I understand you guys. Okay, big shout out to you guys all out there, Anefiok Moses. This one say you talk too much. Go to the point. Thank you very much. You have not even made your point also. You've not given me your name and your location also. Dear friend, next time please let me have your name and where you are watching us from. Big shout out to you anywhere you are anyway. You are still part of us. All right, Ibrahim Shola says, good morning, brother. Good morning to you too, my brother, Ibrahim Shola. Big shout out to you out there. The next one says, you are doing good job without looking back. Forward ever, backward never. Thank you so much, Sadiq Adeleke Sadiq. Big shout out to you, Sadiq Adeleke Sadiq. The last but not the least, it's still Sadiq Adeleke Sadiq. First to comment for the day. Wow, I really appreciate your comments, Sadiq Adeleke Sadiq. On that note, guys, I'll be back in a short while with more exclusive and explosive. Remember, the international break is over. The players are going to be trooping in from today. Yes. And our game is on Saturday against Bournemouth. I'll see you guys in the next one. You see me, dear friends. Shalom and peace.